So right now it is hot in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it is hotter than you know what. You know what. Whoa. Do not Google you know what. But yeah, it's really hot. I'm not quite sure where you're from or where you're watching this from, but in the Pacific Northwest, we have a huge heat wave. Like right now, I'm sitting in my basement and it's 111 degrees. Right now, I'm sitting in my studio and it's 111 degrees with a projected high of 115. That's unheard of for the end of June. Today's June 30th, by the way. So yeah, we got some crazy unheard of heat that's ever hit this part of the country at this time in the summer. So both online, emails, texts from friends and family, and in our tasting room, I've gotten a lot of questions about what does this extreme heat do to the grapes and do to the vines. So let's dive right in. Yeah, I don't want this video to be too long like some of my other ones, but I did just want to kind of talk on a couple of points about this extreme heat and with vines and grapes for this year's vintage. So first off, if this crazy extreme heat had to come at a certain time, now actually is not the worst time for it to come. Currently, all the grapes are still just little tiny green BBs. They're pretty durable and they're pretty strong. So this crazy heat right now isn't going to impact the fruit clusters all that much. Because again, currently they kind of look like this. Again, all grapes kind of start off green, even these are red grapes, they all start off green. I have a whole nother video on grape varieties where I kind of discuss some more of that, so you may want to check out that video as well. But yeah, all things considered, we think we're going to be okay with this extreme heat. Now, when it gets really, really hot like this, usually around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the vines kind of shut down. They don't do a whole lot, they don't transpire, and photosynthesis kind of shuts down too. So basically it's like the vines doing nothing. Even kind of people up here in the Pacific Northwest, they're not really doing much. It's almost too hot to do anything. Most people are just kind of staying inside and not really doing a whole lot. Now, from the viticulture side, I've talked with a bunch of the growers, and what a lot of them are doing is keeping the water on. You know, watering the vines, watering the vineyards. The vines themselves aren't really bringing up that water right now. It's just too hot. The roots aren't even sucking up the water, but you want to have that water available for when they do need it. I played soccer in college, and it kind of reminds me of, you know, you're running around for 45 minutes and you're not really drinking water on the field, but you want to have that water ready at halftime. When you go off, you need to have that water available. So if at halftime everyone's running around like, hey, where's the water? Where's the cooler? Well, that's just kind of a wasted time. So you want to have the water ready for the vines when they're ready to pick it up through their roots. Again, at this point, it's just too hot. They're not gonna pick up any of that water, maybe at night as it cools down a little bit, but for argument's sake, they really aren't taking up much water through their roots at this point. It's just too hot, everything's just kind of shut down. So when the vines shut down, the concern is that they just don't do anything. Now, from a cellular level, the vine is still active, but from a high level with photosynthesis and transpiration, they're not really doing a whole lot. So we don't know yet, but this intense heat might throw us behind a few days or a few weeks from last year. Because again, the vines just aren't doing anything. So it's almost like you just take this week off the map. Now it's getting cooler at night and dropping below 100 obviously, and then the vines can metabolize and maybe they open their stomata, maybe they do a little bit of activity at night, but then they can't really photosynthesize at night because the sun's not out. So it's kind of a dicey topic. We're not sure. We'll have some other milestones as we continue in this growing season to see what happens with this heat. But it's fair to say that these days of this crazy heat, they may just come off the calendar, and not that they don't count, but the vine wasn't doing a whole lot during that time. So we may be behind last year because of it. Again, if the heat had to come at any point, this is probably the better time. The grapes are tiny, they're little BBs as I already mentioned. They're not that prone to sunburn, and a lot of the vineyards haven't been fully leaf thin. A lot of times we'll go in there, we'll expose the fruit and we'll leaf thin them. If this heat came, this crazy heat came, I don't know, end of September or so, all those clusters would be very delicate and very prone to sunburn because of two reasons. The grape cluster is more mature, and we would probably have leaf thinned a little bit and have that cluster more exposed. At this point, the berries are pretty hardy, and 2, we haven't really exposed the fruit all that much. And lastly, this on some level is not a good thing, but there are some pros. Like sometimes around this time of the year, we have high mold and mildew pressure. If we have a lot of rain, if we have a lot of moisture, if there's a lot of humidity in the air, the vines are prone to have mold or mildew. Well, we're not, our mold and mildew pressure is very, very low right now. It's 100 and, we picked up a degree, it's 112 at this point, and so there's not much mold, there's not much mildew pressure on the vines at all, which is kind of a good thing. So anyways, this was just a real quick video. Again, I had a lot of people, like I said, both emails, text, or people in the tasting room that are asking, hey, what does this heat do? So I thought I would just kind of break it down here and have a short little clip explaining some of the things of what we're seeing in the vineyard and how it will impact this year. I think overall we'll find out, time will tell as this year progresses. You know, like some things that I'm concerned about is if you know, if we lose a whole week, okay, we got to make that week up somewhere to get everything right by the end of the year. And last year we had a lot of smoke that came in. The smoke blocks out UVB rays, which then slows down ripening as well. So if we get smoke this fall, which hopefully we don't, that could throw us behind a little bit. In 2019, we had an early freeze that came in. So there's all these kind of things that I'm juggling in my mind of how we're gonna manage the fruit going forward. Because for instance, if we got a late ripener like Grenache or Mourvedre, we might have to drop some more fruit. We might have to thin it out, hang it a little bit lighter with losing a week, and then just seeing how the summer and the rest of the fall go. So those are just things as a winemaker, as a viticulturist, those are things that you're constantly thinking about when you're looking at the weather. Hey, how's everything progressing? How's everything tracking from year to year to year? But anyways, yeah, I appreciate you checking out this video. These videos are for Wine Club members only, so thank you very much for being a Wine Club member. And I have plenty of other videos, so click around and enjoy one of these perks of being a Wine Club member. But I think I may leave this video free for a while. I just had tons and tons of questions, so I may just throw this up on the website. Feel free to share it with family and friends for a while. I'll lock it down at some point to just be a member only video, and then you'll have to be logged in to watch it. But if you're not a member, to join our wine club, you can do that on the website. Select your wines for the fall shipment, and those will be reserved for you for the October shipment. And no moon fact this time. Again, this video I just kind of threw together just because there was so much interest, so much talk. I thought I need to get something out there for people to kind of explain this heat. So that's gonna do it for me. Keep drinking wine and keep looking up. Have a good day. I wonder how many people Googled you know what. Did you do it? I bet a lot of people Googled it. It's just a silly picture. That's the only thing I found. It's nothing too crazy.